It is time to kill Bill. Not literally, but I am talking about Beatrix Kiddo, also known as the Bride, from Quentin Tarantino's revenge classics, Kill Bill, Volumes 1 and 2. In this video, we will be looking at a woman hell-bent on revenge, a woman who would not let anyone or anything stop her from putting the hurt on the one who wronged her. We will look at 3 of her best quotes about revenge, and what they can teach us about the nature of the human need to seek retribution for being wronged. So, who is Beatrix Kiddo? And I say is, because these characters will always be alive in the minds of their fans, and even though fictional, portrayed by very real actors, they are their own entities. So whether shot in the past, died, or not in the movie or series, these characters attain immortal status, as long as there are people to gain insights and inspiration from their plights. Beatrix Kiddo, also known as the Bride, is the central character in Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill films, a former elite assassin working for the deadly Viper assassination squad under the codename Black Mamba. Beatrix seeks vengeance after her former teammates and their leader, Bill, who was also her lover, attempted to kill her on her wedding day. Left in a coma for 4 years, she awakens with a singular purpose: to track down and eliminate those responsible for the massacre. Fierce, skilled, and relentless, Beatrix is driven by a powerful combination of justice, anger, and maternal instinct, especially after discovering her daughter is still alive. Her journey is marked by intense combat, emotional revelations, and a methodical path of retribution. We will look at her empowered, vengeful words, so that we may be able to gain some insight into our own need for revenge in our own lives. Why do we feel the need to make someone pay for wronging us? It seems pretty simple. An eye for an eye may seem like justice, but I believe that justice is about harmony, and revenge is just a way to make yourself feel better. Even though after attaining it, we often feel unfulfilled, I believe that when a human being truly reaches a level of empowerment and really knows their own capabilities, they will not seek the revenge sought after by most others. They will be above this notion, past it, more evolved. But that is easy to say if somebody steals your bike. But if a person kills one of your friends or family, we will see the fire of vengeance burn inside. Now, let's dive in. Quote number 1. Revenge is never a straight line. It's a forest. Unlike a forest, it's easy to lose your way. This line clearly rejects the traditional notion of a redemptive or transformative journey. Many revenge films follow a path where the protagonist changes or finds peace, but not Beatrix. This quote emphasizes that her only motivation is retribution, and she is willing to get lost in the pursuit of it, doing whatever it takes to scratch that itch. Every action she takes, every enemy she faces, is not a means to personal growth or enlightenment, it's payback. The stark, emotionless delivery of this line reinforces how single-minded and disciplined she is in her pursuit. I'm sure we have all gotten caught up in our own pursuits, but think about if that pursuit was not learning a new instrument, but was learning how to wield a knife with reckless, deadly abandon. So we can see it is a great thing to get caught up in our practices, but when that practice is to get ready to commit atrocities, then we need to look at our motivations. These notions are highly circumstantial, because if someone took the life of your own mother, who was an angel on this dark world, you would maybe feel the need to go full vigilante. And I do not know if I could blame you for these feelings. We can learn from Beatrix's words that instead of getting lost in these actions, we should channel all that hatred and energy into something that can honor ourselves and those we seek a false notion of justice for. It is so satisfying, but once that line is crossed, there is no going back, because I believe that human beings are very good at adapting, and we can get used to anything. So when you are used to blood, then your eyes will be seeing red for the rest of your life, forever lost in the forest. Number 2. You and I have unfinished business. This quote is a recurring motif in the Kill Bill saga. It's brief, cold, and impersonal, serving as both a warning and a death sentence. The use of the word business rather than conflict or issue, implies that Beatrix approaches revenge with surgical precision and detachment. It's not about emotional confrontation. It's about completing a task. Each person she says this to represents another name on her death list, and she won't stop until the slate is wiped clean. Once human beings become so easily disposed of, as if just a name to be crossed off a list, then you know you may have strayed from your dharma. I draw upon a notion from the Harry Potter series, which says that murder rips apart, tears the soul. It is a violation against nature itself. These words to me are very insightful and downright enlightening. It would make more sense to me that if there was actually a heaven, where our souls go after we leave our corporeal forms, that the only way we could not get in is if we were to commit murder. But here again, there are stipulations, such as accidental instances and self-defense. We dive into these things on this channel and give deep insight into such notions, because it is only with the knowledge and open dialogue from decent people do we take a step forward as a species, away from what we are today, the petty, vengeful, immature beings, to people who rise above, not go below. To me, murder would definitely tear apart the soul and serve to tear apart the contract we have with the universe, thus inhibiting our entrance to the next phase of existence, if such a thing exists in the first place, according to your own personal beliefs. If we were to lie, cheat or steal, then those type of acts could be forgiven and remorse laid at anyone's feet. But if one goes down the dark path, then even our own instincts tell us that we are destined for a fiery afterlife if we commit the ultimate dark deed. Our final quote by Beatrix Kiddo is, "When fortune smiles on something as violent and ugly as revenge, it seems proof like no other that not only does God exist, you're doing His will." Here, Beatrix wrestles with the morality of what she's doing. Revenge is often portrayed as morally grey or outright corrupting, but in her case, she feels divinely justified. The fact that her violent mission keeps succeeding, and that she survived against all odds, seems to validate her actions. It's a chilling rationalization of her vengeance, where success becomes proof of righteousness. This quote touches on the psychological complexity of her character, her need to believe there is meaning, even divine approval, behind her brutality. This quote perfectly exemplifies the notion of God when it comes to our own needs and wants. When we humans want something, we are the first to think our God would support our missions. We believe we have all the answers, and that our beliefs are correct. When in truth, we know absolutely nothing, less than nothing, and the ones who try to convince you otherwise are simply overcompensating, trying to convince themselves more than you. I'm not saying to not have strong beliefs. I encourage every person to have their own set of uncheckable beliefs, but where I draw the line is when you try to push those beliefs on other people who are not open to it, and do not want to be converted or convinced. We have seen this throughout human history, the notion of convert or kill for almost every major religion in the world. If a person can believe in something so greatly, to the point where they feel the need to kill innocents in order to convince others that their beliefs are justified, then that is where we have a huge problem. This type of small-minded thinking actually goes against everything these religions teach. But they have been twisted by men whose goals are to gain power by converting others to their way of thinking. I simply do not care what another human believes. I simply respect their beliefs. I do not seek to try and change their minds to my way of thinking, unless they ask me for such guidance in their spiritual pursuits. Taking positive notions, morals, great teachings from these historical beliefs is an amazing thing, but when you can be swayed into thinking that your God blesses your mission in such a way that you will never fail, then that is what we call dangerous. When fortune greets you for your dirty deeds, and you think this is your God smiling down, then your mind has now truly doubled down with reassurance. Revenge by itself is destructive enough, but revenge backed up by the words of your chosen God, then that is something atomic. Strong beliefs in beings we cannot see or prove their existence is a very slippery slope, because nobody can ever tell you that you are wrong. I simply say to those people, Do you think that if there are beings from another planet in this universe, do they know or believe in your God? The answer is no. They have their own beliefs and gods. Does this mean they are wrong or going to hell? These questions answer themselves, and this is where logic collides with belief. This is why this quote by Beatrix can be so dangerous, because the so-called holy warrior, ordained by God to fight the holy war, is the most effective and dangerous being. They care not about their own death. They are simply focused on their own twisted version of the truth, at whatever cost. These are simply existential thoughts, an open-minded dialogue, spawned by the analysis of our favorite characters, so that we may one day evolve a little bit in our own ways of thinking. I'm not trying to convince you of anything, but merely ask you questions that I ask myself. Knowledge is a key to life. I try to learn something I do not know from another person every single day, because you never know what another person has to teach, but that teaching cannot be forced. It must be gifted willingly and received thankfully. This is what we can learn from the words of one of the most proficient assassins of all time. In the world of movies and fiction, her story shows us that we may achieve our goals and ride into the sunset having rescued the one we love, and getting retribution on all of those who have wronged us, but at what cost? Will we be like Beatrix and smile happily driving away with her daughter towards a great new life? Or will we be full of regret, running from ourselves and the law, looking over our shoulder for the rest of our lives? If the result is the former, then I believe that the mind is already far past these notions of a conscience, because if you can smile, sleep at night, and laugh your way into denial, then that means all the lives you have taken do not mean much. It means you are now so used to doing this that it does not affect you. This is what I meant by human beings can get used to anything, even doing the darkest of deeds. So when moving through life, when we feel wronged, we must ask ourselves, will taking revenge on this person merely help me sleep better at night? Or does it take a much stronger-willed person to forgive and learn from it? I say we should fight for ourselves, fight for the ones we love, but never think that they would want you to commit such acts in their name. This is why I see revenge and justice as two completely different notions that people tend to confuse as the same. We can see from this analysis that revenge is all about us. It is a selfish act to make ourselves feel better, because chances are the person we are trying to avenge would rail against this and caution us not to take this path in their name. Defend yourself and the ones you love at all costs. Do not let your personal beliefs make you think that you are a warrior with some holy cause, because this notion is pure fantasy. No matter how romanticized the notion is, we all want to feel like Beatrix Kiddo, wield our katana with deadly precision, and take out our own sense of justice on a world gone to hell. But if we think like this, then we will be living the lie, living in the storybooks we love, because the hero always gets the bad guys, and his family is always looking down on him with pride. We must distinguish fact from fantasy, ground ourselves in the present moment, and ask ourselves one simple question: is it really worth killing Bill?